Ah yes, welcome back one and all to episode 2 of season 2 of our Clone Army series. I'd like to ask you my friends, how is it hanging and are you ready? Because hold on to your teeth, we've got quite the episode today. We're going to be doing a lot today. We're going to be building, we're going to be attacking, and we're going to be making so many friends, many of them by force of course. But before we begin making forceful friendships, I want to do a good bit of building because RimWorld and Napoleon throughout the entire first season, both of them being our commanders, neither of them have even had their own room. They've been having to bunk it with the other soldiers. And of course the two of them are very gracious commanders and whatnot, and I'm sure that they don't really mind, but it would be a nice status symbol and a nice reward to them for doing all that they've done for us. So we ended up completing 2 bougie rooms, one for each of our beautiful commanders. However, ironically, after building these 2 bougie rooms, I noticed that for whatever reason, Wart doesn't need to sleep. It must have something to do with all the void bionics and experiments they performed on him. But nevertheless, Napoleon really enjoyed his. Now, I recently saw a comment by our good friend Dorella7420 asking me to make the clones a flag, and I totally agree. I think that'd be a wonderful idea. Originally, I wasn't going to do that, but now that we're thinking about taking over the world completely, we are going to need a banner to rally behind. And so, of course, that's exactly what we made. I went with a fairly simple design here, a red flag with a golden trim with some imperial symbolism in the middle with a little blue dot and a golden star. Now, of course, the blue circle represents our little blue marble planet here. The golden star represents our faction and our main settlement, and of course, the white empire symbol is just basically our empire around the planet. And the idea, the hope, and the goal is just as this white imperial symbol wraps around the little blue marble, so will our influence, our power, and our love begin to wrap around the planet and strangle the factions that live upon it into submission. Or, you know, something like that. Anyhow though, we still have massive piles of bodies, food, weapons, just anything that these dumbass Itaken left here in this massive battle against the Wasters, so we start hauling all of that shit in and hopefully we can sell it soon and make a little bit of silver. Now while we're on the topic of weapons, something we talked about in episode 1 was trying to give the Omega Clone Squad their own individuality, and I believe part of that is going to be allowing them to choose from our massive stockpile of weapons to see what they would like for themselves. And of course, in doing so, this obviously means they're not all going to have the exact same blasters, which is going to give us a good bit of diversity as well as versatility on the battlefield. Plus, I mean, come on, they look super badass with all these new weapons, and of course with their customized armor and stuff. So who knows, maybe they'll even be able to intimidate the enemy to death on their next mission, which is about to happen right now. That's right, we're sending Kid Omega back out to the same Imperial settlement that she went to last episode, except this time she's not really on a diplomatic mission. Hey, how's it hanging? Got a quick question for you. Are you mentally unstable? Oh, that's perfect. I have just the attire for you. Introducing the Rat Knight Mentally Unstable t-shirt, a very festive wear. Ah, not festive enough for you, huh? Maybe you'd like something a little bit more spooky. Or perhaps you're having something of a sad boy hour. No worries, there's a shirt for that too. Of course, if you're like me and you have too many t-shirts though, maybe you prefer to drink out of something with my face on it. Whatever your preference though, I've got you covered over at ratknightapparel.com. And now, let's get back to the video. And neither is her entire Omega squad, which now includes Ox, the ODST, which I forgot to mention a moment ago. Nevertheless, though, it would now appear that this Imperial settlement already has replaced the Duchess with a Duke, a handsome ginger fella by the name of Slade. Ah yes, we can't wait to crack their armor open and peel it off of them like a little shrimp tail. Oh, that was kind of gross, huh? But nevertheless, anyhow, we are going to try and bomb them first. Unfortunately, though, we haven't made any nukes in a little while, so we do have some mortar shells that we're going to drop on them instead. Now, obviously, of course, I don't expect these mortar shells to do near as much damage as our nuclear bombs normally would, but strategically, if we drop them in the right places, we might be able to do some damage to the defenses and maybe even the soldiers. Yeah, no, looks like we're going to be relying on our blasters this time around. I did notice, however, that they actually are entrapped within a mountain range, so the only way in and out is by leaving the map or by using a ship to land, so they're kind of stuck in there for this raid, which is perfect for us. They all began to gather in this one single corner with some of their defenses, and some of them even began trying to mine out through the mountain to get to us, which was also perfect because we could just simply wait here on the other side and start blasting through the mountain until they got through, at which point we would then begin blasting them. Even for our smallest and weakest clone squad, the Empire was nothing more than child's play. Their Duke would fall to us very quickly and very easily, just as the entire Empire shall to the clone army and the might of Napoleon Wartwart. And by this point you already know the drill. They kept coming, we kept blasting, and eventually we won. Now you may be asking yourself, Rat Knight, why do you keep using the Omega Clone Squad and you're not using as many nukes and stuff like that? I promise we will begin using more nukes and we'll begin using the majority of our army, but of course the Omega Squad has to train, and who better for them to train on than such a weak, powerful faction like the Empire? And honestly, not using as many nukes against the Empire like this is beneficial. As you'll see, we traveled to a local Outlander settlement and we ended up trading a lot of the things that we collected from the space, things that we wouldn't have got if we just up and blew it all to hell. After buying a bunch of resources from the one Outlander base, we would then travel to a separate Outlander base and end up buying more resources from them before heading back home. Now the Outlanders do still currently hate us, but slightly less now that we're trading with them. The main things that we ended up purchasing were plasteel and uranium, the crucial part, of course, for nuclear bombs. The uranium more than the plasteel, as we already have plenty of plasteel, but anyhow, we began finally working on some nuclear and fusion warheads again. And with our nuclear arsenal finally stocked back up, for the most part at least, it was time for us to make the Empire realize that they must bend the knee. For resistance against the clone army and our leaders would be completely futile. The Empire would either stand under us or they would stand in our way no longer. We do not wish to completely destroy the Empire. It would actually be very beneficial if we kept them around and completely under our thumb, but they're kind of upset about us killing the Duchess and whatnot who had stood in our way at the Void Planet Killer, so we're gonna have to make an example out of one of their cities. We had to make them realize that their shattered empire was no more. The only empire that will save them on this planet is the clones. They had a few small nuclear warheads of their own, and we decided to let our nuclear warheads have a little talk with theirs, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we bombed the shit out of them. As swift as lightning, our nuclear fire descended upon this Imperial base. What few remaining Imperial soldiers were left immediately began trying to attack us. You have to admire their enthusiasm, I suppose. But anyhow, we blasted the absolute shit out of them. We went into the city and killed the remaining few, as well as their defenses. And of course, the only thing left for the remaining Imperial settlements to salvage were the burning nuclear radioactive ashes of their comrades. And a few simple meals, it looks like. Those are probably radioactive too, though. But it looks like our good work here is done. Time to move on to yet another Imperial settlement. This time around, we will be attacking the capital city of the Empire. Yes, I know it doesn't look like much, but Void did kick the shit out of them when they conquered the planet originally, so I guess we should lower our expectations. Besides, we're not really here for the city. I mean, we are, and we're going to nuke the absolute shit out of it, but there is a prize within the city that we really want. A prize which flies around in this very bougie royal ship. A prize that is hiding within this giant plasteel structure. But just like a delicious holiday nut snack, we're going to have to crack the shell to get into the inner goodies. So that's exactly what we decide to do, in the form of more nukes. This time around, we really didn't even have to blast anyone into submission. The bombs really did all the talking for us, thankfully, and we managed to save our little treat, it would appear. For you see, my good friends, the real prize here in the capital city was Prince Cat Lo, the last remaining family member of a once great royal family on this planet taken over by Void. And with the prince's help and cooperation, we could swiftly end this war with the Empire in our favor without destroying them. we headed back home away from the rubble of the Imperial capital city with our new Prince buddy. Well, he's not exactly our friend just yet, but I'm sure Prince Catlow will be more than inclined to be our friend after a little bit of beating and torturing, of course. The idea here is that we're going to enslave the prince. So basically, instead of completely destroying the Empire as we did Void, because Void was this massive maniacal evil force that couldn't be reasoned with, as where the Empire is now completely crippled thanks to our nuclear bombs and are probably looking for a more diplomatic solution. We are going to be sending our new puppet Prince Catlow in as the last remaining member of the royal family. They'll be more than inclined to listen to him, and they will be our proxy, our puppet if you will. And what do you know, would you look at that? We are now allies, quote unquote, with the Empire. Just as always, Napoleon has them right in the palm of his hand. The first order of business, the Empire will now begin attacking these weaker, more pathetic enemy factions of ours, for we cannot be expending our troops for such low-hanging fruits. That rhymed. When will they learn that the only people that come out on top on this planet is Napoleon and the clone army? The only people that win here are us. Conquering this planet with ease, and soon we may even conquer the stars. Yes, indeed, nothing quite like being such an unstoppable Hey, what's this? Who? Oh, shit, that is a lot of battle droids.